Welcome back, all. So today we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the decorator at output. It's a bit of a there isn't that much code that we actually need to write, but there is a lot that we need to explain, which is a little bit kind of counterintuitive, I guess. Anyway, go into the account list.component.ts and I am going to write this out. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and copy this. So just select this and press Ctrl X to cut it out completely. And then go into the app component.ts and we're gonna paste it here. Just label it there. Why did we do this? Well, as we stated in the previous tutorials, we do not want the account list .component.ts to be able to do any sort of modifications to our accounts. We only want it to be able to display things. We don't want it to perform any sort of modifications. We want a different component to be in charge of modifications, and deleting something falls into the line of falls under the modifications. This is perhaps not so important now, but later on when we actually conduct these sort of operations on the server and in the database, it will be important because aside from, here, let's just go back to the app component.ts. You see this method? In real world, you wouldn't be able to use just this method because if you want to delete something from a server, from a database, which doesn't necessarily need to be on the same machine and usually is not on the same machine where your web server is, you need to perform a certain logic here. Like you most likely you will have something like a try catch block. So it will attempt to connect to the server of the database. It will attempt to access what it needs to delete, and it will try to find it, and then it will try to delete it. It might succeed. It might not succeed. If you ask me why it might not succeed, well, there are like a good amount of reasons why it wouldn't be why the deletion can fail. Therefore, we will be implementing a logic later on down the road for the deletion. So you will need to attempt to delete it, and you will need some sort of a method of informing yourself or the client if the deletion process has failed to happen for whatever reason. So that's why we're removing it from the account list.component.ts, as that is only used for displaying information onto the screen. We don't really have any modification logic here, so to say. Anyway, enough about that. We only needed to move that to the here and press Ctrl S to save it. Now we're gonna go back to the account. Have I saved it or what? Okay. For some strange reason, it's orange. It's pretty early in the morning. It's something stupid. I can't think of it. Why? I can't think why. But it's not important. Anyway, in the account list here, we're gonna not in the HTML, in the account list.ts, where I am now, but I'm looking at my notes. We're gonna need to include a few more things here. So the very first thing that we're gonna include in addition to input will be output. And in addition to the output, we will also include event emitter. So event emitter. And if you don't know what event emitter is, that's fine, but try to figure it out just by reading the name. It emits an event, hence it is called an event emitter. Anyway, I will explain that in more detail down the road. So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and type this out as I don't really have a lot of it to do. I just need to, it's a very short, as I said, not a lot of code, but a lot of talking in this one. So, output, and then we're gonna do as before, but this one shall be named delete, and delete, let me just write it out and then I'll explain it. Event emitter, and it's gonna be like number. Wow, I'm reaching new levels of low with typing. Okay, so the first thing that you can notice is that these two look hilariously like one another. Well, this first part does anyway. The second part is something completely different. Now, if I just to give you a heads up, if this does not exist, if this is not here, if I did not specify that it is delete, it will still work. It will still be delete. It will take this as the default name. Okay, so let's take it from left to right. Output, at output, first of all, is a decorator, just like at input is. And same thing as with input, it also adds additional characteristics to the variable. So you have a variable which is delete. The name of the variable is delete, and you have the decorator output, which adds additional characteristics to the variable delete. It basically states that the delete variable, the one that I'm selecting now, is an output variable. What does this mean? Well, it means that the parent components, or in our case, the parent component is app.component.ts, the painfully orange one, the mysteriously orange one, should I say, can subscribe to this variable. So the parent component can subscribe to this variable. So just like with mouse over, mouse click, events, etc., it functions in pretty much the same way. We're simply specifying what will occur if that event occurs. So what does it mean to subscribe or to perform such things? Well, if appcomponent.ts is subscribed to basically to here to this event, basically what will happen to this variable, sorry, what will happen is that when a certain event occurs, and we will see how the logic unfolds a little bit later on, when a certain event occurs, all those who are subscribed to this variable will be informed that that event has happened, and in addition to that, we will be able to pass certain values as well. And here it says new event emitter and then number. So new is a keyword that we use to create a new instance of a class. Event emitter is basically a class that makes this logic work. Now, the logic behind this, the logic that we're trying to create here, the logic of subscription and event passing, basically it functions like this. Just imagine that our app component.ts is, let's say, an individual A, and that we perhaps have more individuals like those, a group of them, or just one, it doesn't matter. So basically, with this logic, we are enabling a group or an individual component or other things that we can plug in here, like services. And that's why I said just individual A, basically, to subscribe to the event emitter class. And then the event emitter class can inform them that a certain event has occurred. Now you have, in addition to this, right here it says a number. Now this means that the information emitted or delegated by this event will be of type number. Basically, since we're deleting something, we need to say what we are deleting, and we are defining that with a number, basically. A final thing, before I actually come back to output and go into the other files where I show you how we interlink this logic together, we will need to create a method. So private underline remove index, and we're gonna be so kind as to create this dot delete dot emit index, and there we go. Okay, so for some strange reason, it's index. Let me just see where did I make the error. I think I need to place in a number or something. Yep, there we go. It is a number. So just this small error here. Anyway, when you press the delete button from here from the website, when you press a delete button, this method will be called. So when this method is called, it will perform this logic here. It will say, okay, current instance, delete. Delete is referring to this. And then it says emit. Emit. And then in addition to that, it gives an index as well, which basically is the index number of the account. So it will emit this. And to everything that is subscribed to this variable, in our particular case, since the app component.ts will be subscribed to this variable, it will receive this index and it will receive info that this event has occurred, and then it will act based upon that that notification. Let's say same thing, same logic would be. I know it's a little bit difficult to understand, but you can look at it this way. The same logic would be applied to your YouTube subscription. If you go onto YouTube, if you subscribe, you can have one subscriber, you can have 10,000 subscribers on a channel, and then when somebody uploads a new video on that channel, they all get informed, and then they perform a certain action based upon the information that they've received. Okay, you get a notification, hey, this guy that you are subscribed to has uploaded a new video. So you decide, okay, do I want to watch it, or do I want to unsubscribe, or do I want to, I don't know, whatever, basically. It doesn't matter, but you get the logic. The component will subscribe to an event, the component will be informed when the event occurs, and it will receive some additional information, and then we will see the logic that we will implement. How will this be actually handled? I will get back to you in the follow-up tutorial, as I am running a little bit short in terms of time, and we will move on right from where we left off.